Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. I'm currently in the airport for the first time traveling since the pandemic has happened on an airplane. So I've got about a 5.5 hour flight ahead of me, so I'm going to see if I can complete a knitting pattern during that time. If I fall asleep, I fall asleep, but honestly I think I'm a little bit too ramped up to fall asleep. So I've got all of my materials here. So in here I have my knitting needles, my yarn cutter, and my tapestry needles so I can get all this stuff done. And in my bag I also have the yarn that I'm going to use. So I have it wound up here so it's all pretty contained. And when I've made this pattern in the past, I honestly don't know how much it's going to take, but it is around that amount of time. So obviously I'm not going to stuff it, but hopefully I will succeed in getting a complete frog by the time that I finish my flight. So I'm not going to film on the flight itself. I'm just going to check back in when the entire flight is over.
My flight is over. I am now speaking to you from Las Vegas, which I'm here simply because there is a Katy Perry concert happening the day before my birthday, and I thought, what a wonderful way to ring in turning 30. So here I am. The flight went relatively well. It left on time. It took a little bit longer to get there than expected because there was quite a fair amount of turbulence on the ride. But it ended up being a very productive plane ride. I not only finished a frog, I was able to start a second one. So I got my two body parts here. I got like all the legs right here. I got all the toes right here. And I've got the eyes for two frogs right here. And then this is what I was working on as the plane was landing. It was the body for the second frog. And I was able to get a nice little setup going. I'm going to insert a quick picture of it here. And with that, I was able to keep everything relatively contained. So inside here, I had the various tools that I need. So this was my yarn cutter. I kind of just wore this around my neck when I started using it a lot. And I'm very thankful it got through TSA. I didn't know if it was going to or not. I have the needles in here. I have my crochet hook. And I've got a tapestry needle right here. And I've got my pattern, which I made a photocopy of it, but I also took pictures of it so I'd have it electronically. And I've got my row counter right here. This is actually my first time using the row counter, which I used its buddy because I ended up buying two of these, and its buddy worked fine, but this one was like sticking. It was sticking particularly when it got around to like 9, and I would have to like move it manually, which is kind of not why you have the clicker. You have the clicker so that way you don't have to move things manually. So I had to keep like a much more vigilant eye on the clicker than I usually do because it was acting up on me. But it didn't move, which was good. And what I was doing was I was keeping like the ball of yarn inside the bag as well, so that way it would stay relatively secure, because I don't want to have to go chasing after the ball of yarn. It only escaped from me once, but fortunately it didn't go very far, so all I had to do was just reach down and get it. And this vibrant green yarn, it's kind of getting washed out right now, but I think it's gonna make my point a little bit more, well, it's going to emphasize my point a little bit more because right after we took off for the flight, the airplane dimmed the lights, and they made mention of reading lights that were available if you needed it. I didn't need to turn them on. When the lights turned off, this glowed. This literally glowed. This is not glow in the dark yarn. It was kind of like someone hit it with a UV light, which meant I was able to see the stitches, which was amazing. And I'm just impressed I was able to finish a frog despite the fact that there were lots of distractions. I was listening to music at first, but then someone near me started watching the new Elvis biopic, and it was like, don't mind if I just like look at your screen too, right? And then it's like there's also food that came by, so I had some food as well, took some food breaks. And I think now I'm probably at the point where I'm going to go get some food for myself. Just kind of relax, because I've just been around a lot of people lately. But yeah, that was my flight and how I was able to knit while on an airplane. Thou says entertainment. Have a nice day.